So this week's video is a do as I say, not as I do video. Right now I think it's 53 degrees outside. The fish have still been outside. I haven't brought them in yet. And I think their tubs are like 58, so they just dropped below 60 as of today. So it's 8:50 at night right now, so I'm gonna go and drain a bunch of them and then just try and drag the tubs inside so that they can slowly acclimate to room temperature. And then tomorrow I'll try and net them all out and get them in the tanks. So I don't know how much of a good video I'm gonna get of draining them because it's already dark outside, so I turned on the light. I'll still record it, but yeah, hopefully I checked the tubs. The fish don't look to be dead. They're still in there, all swimming, but it is super cold, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it today, even though I got home super late, and hopefully the fish will all be okay. So that took about 45 minutes now. It's like 9:40 now at night. I drained them down as far as I could. It's hard to drain them because they're on the ground, so siphoning them out is kind of hard, and I didn't want to use a pump because there's fry in at least a couple of the tubs, so I didn't really want them to get sucked through, so I tried to just siphon as much as I could and then just dragged them inside. It's almost 10 o'clock now, so I'm just going to let them sit in here and slowly warm up to room temperature. All my tanks are at room temperature minus the angelfish tank, which has its own heater. Everything else is just room temperature, so I'll let them acclimate to room temperature. Then tomorrow we can go through, dig through all of them, scoop out all the fish and see what we got in there. So stay tuned. So I finally got all the fish out. It took me, I don't know, like a little over an hour probably to get them all done. So it was a little bit exhausting. You got to just kind of sit there and like watch it for a while to make sure that you didn't miss any. It's quite the chore for a lot of them. So overall, I'll go through, I'll show you all the fish too that we pulled out. The cherry barbs, there's no fry that we saw in the tubs. However, there's still a chance that there's some in the tubs now. So we're gonna let that water sit for like 2 days probably, because that's about how long it'll take for the eggs to hatch, to see if there's any babies in there, because they could be in the gravel now that the cherry barbs have just been eating all summer, and now that all the cherry barbs are out, the eggs have a chance to hatch. Same with the Furcata rainbows. The 5 we put in are the same 5 that we pulled out. No babies in there, so I'll let that water sit for a couple days as well and see if there's any babies in there. As for the guppies, I know we put out at least 9 or 10 of them. Could have even been more than that. We actually only pulled out 11 total, so that wasn't a huge success. The 11 that we pulled out aren't even the same 10 that we put in, so I think most of the ones I put in had died, and the ones that they laid are the only ones that survived. So I'll have to figure out a better way to do that next year. I don't think they had enough cover for the fry to survive. I think they were still eating them all, so that didn't go super well. On the other hand, the swordtails, we put in 3 at the beginning of the year. We only put in 1 male and 2 females at the beginning of the year, and we pulled out 39 of them. So that's a pretty good success. Probably, I'd say even 18 or more of them are a good, 1.5 inches. And then the rest of them are super tall, super small. They're another batch that just got laid recently. So we'll see how they do. They're in this tank that's super dim right here because there's a thick layer of floating plants on the top. I want to give them a couple days to relax. They were pretty stressed out in the tubs. Their colors are pretty dull. I think they got way too cold. So I'm gonna let them adjust for a few days and hopefully they'll get better. I put plants, floating plants, their filter, all of that stuff's in there now. So hopefully they'll get adjusted and be nice and happy and healthy now. So as for plants was not a huge success. I'll show you this one once I can get the light on in there. That one did super well. That was in the cherry barb tub, I believe. That was pretty much the only one that did well. It was the Rotella indica that did super great in there. The jungle val did super well. I probably put a couple in each one and pulled out 3 or 4 out of each one, so they all pretty much sent out a couple runners. The other plant that did well is this. This is the melon sword that I put in. You can see these roots are just massive. So this plant was probably only like this tall when I put it in there, and it's just huge now. So that did super well. The jungle val did super well. But besides that, the rest of the plants didn't do super great. I don't know what I'll do next year. I know for sure that I want to put a bunch of guppy grass in each of them so that they'll have way more cover than they did this year. But besides that, I don't know, I think it was a success. I liked it a lot. I didn't hardly have to feed them when they were outside, so that was super nice. They pretty much just ate whatever fell into the tubs. The water stayed super clear for the most part. I dealt with a little bit of algae at the beginning, but besides that, I didn't really deal with it at all. So it was super fun, super easy. Live bears, highly recommend. Egg scatters, I know a lot of people have success with them. I didn't really have any success, so I'll have to figure out a better way to do that next year. I'm wondering if the gravel that I used wasn't big enough for the eggs to fall through, so maybe next year I'll get a little bit bigger size gravel than I did this year, and maybe we'll have success. I don't know, but pretty much that's what I kind of thought about summer tubbing this year. So a lot of work to tear it down. It took me an hour and a half yesterday, probably another hour and a half. I still have a lot of cleanup to do, so probably at least another hour. So tear down takes a long time. Setting them up took a little while, but they pretty much run themselves for the summer. I also have an entire 5-gallon bucket of Salvinia minea that I pulled out, so if you want to grow floating plants, that was an awesome way to do it. But that's my thoughts on summer tubbing. I'll for sure do it again next year, and it was a lot of fun, so you guys should try it out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.